All right. Clap after 3. 1, 2, 3. It's a real hard clap for you.
I want to make sure you can hear me.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
So how are we going to start this one? Take number 2.
I mean, I think we should just get going. No, unless Fia wants to do my intro again, which I'd love to hear.
All I can do is hello, everybody.
That's all the intro is.
We don't have much of an intro.
Also,
Ready?
please leave all this in.
Oh, I was going to. I was just...
Hello, everybody.
And
welcome to the show.
Welcome to episode 67.5.
So this is obviously not a regular episode.
Absolutely not.
You can tell just by our banter at the beginning. No, and also you can tell by the fact that it's 67.5. We are doing half an episode today. There's a few reasons for that. We are going to get into some of the reasons at a later episode, very shortly. So you won't have to wait too terribly long. But part of it is that we are bringing on brand new co-host Fia, and we want to kind of explain how we know Fia and just what her background is, so you as the listeners can know what to expect from her as we now are operating as a trio on I Wish You Were Dead. And so, Fia, how's it going?
Hello. It's going good. Having a little bit of a thunderstorm right now, but it's good.
Don't know what that's like over here in California.
I'm going to punch you in the face. I swear, I hate you so much.
I just received news that LSU, where I go to graduate school, is closing tomorrow due to severe weather.
Oh.
So that's fun.
At least you get a day off.
I don't have class anyway, but it's all good.
The grad school life where it's like you only have class like 2 days a week, but the rest of your life is just consumed with your other work.
Yep. It is true.
Yeah, I know the feeling. So, let's just begin here. Talking about how we know each other. In case you guys didn't hear at the beginning, we tried recording this once, and the thunderstorms didn't quite, right.
Yeah, it had other plans.
Basically, what happened was Fia only joined this podcast so she could sabotage our recordings.
That's true.
So, we're doing this for a second time here. But Gavin, I think you were the one explaining kind of how the three of us know each other. Do you want to maybe do this second time?
I sure can. I talk about it to just about everybody that I meet, as my fiance can attest to. So, Mike, Fia, and I all volunteer for a youth leadership organization called HOBie. Basically, it's a youth leadership organization where we bring in local high school sophomores to some like local college or some other centralized place. And we teach them, we bring them in for like a weekend, and we teach them how to use their leadership skills to make positive changes back home in like their own communities. And so we all went when we were in 10th grade, not all at the same time. So Mike went first, and then I went the next year, and then Fia went the year after that, all as students. And then after you go as a student, you can volunteer to come back on staff. It's like an almost entirely all volunteer led and driven organization. And so we've all been back on staff pretty much every year since. So it's been a weird couple of years with COVID stuff, but in general, it's been a really good time. I went in 2012 as a student, so this will be my 10th official year. Yeah, and it's a bummer that I can't actually be on site because, as I said, I'm in California.
Right.
But yeah, so we all came back as volunteers, and that's, we've been best friends ever since.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't quite say it's been ever since because, again, I was, we all went our separate years, but, Gavin, I certainly didn't get to know you until at least a year after you were on staff. And then, Fia, another year for you. So it was probably, 2014 or 2015 that we all really got close and began to know each other. At least that's the way I think I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sounds about right, because for the most part, your first year on staff, you pretty much only hang out with the other people who it's also their first year on staff, just because you're doing the same like role at the organization, and those are the people with the same experience. You make all the same jokes because you just reference things that happened while you were a student there.
Yeah, you're all the same age. Everybody that's been there for years has been there for years and has become friends with each other. So
right,
it kind of makes sense that it took us a little while to actually get to know each other, but we hit it off pretty quick, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's how we all know each other. But that's I'd say most of how we spend our time together is doing things even like tangentially related to that. But we also hang out a decent amount. Our other really good friend who doesn't listen to the podcast, Ricky.
Boo.
Uh,
I've tried so many times to get him to listen.
I know, but he, he
Let's
has
be honest here, though.
yeah.
This is not a podcast for everybody.
No, it's not.
Yeah, sure.
And I acknowledge that, and it's definitely not for Ricky. I love Ricky so much, but this is not his jam. But yeah, so he and then we went to Mike's house a handful of times, but every summer we tried to get together to do various end of summer shenanigans before we all went back to our respective colleges. But now we're all pretty much out of like college anyway. And then we all try to do New Year's stuff. This year I sadly missed it because again, California.
Yes.
I do enjoy being here, but being close to friends is nice as well. But,
you know what I don't enjoy? You being there.
Hey, you're coming to see me in a couple weeks. Don't be like that.
You remember the part where we said we weren't going to talk about that?
Hey, I mean that's not a secret.
Maybe
it was. I don't know.
I thought it was a secret, but so I'm going to see Gavin.
I mean, cut that out. I mean, if you don't want it in there, cut it
no,
out.
I'm not editing this episode. I am not editing this episode even a little bit. I am putting them together, exporting the video, hitting the upload button, and we're just going to see what happens. So I guess everybody knows that now. Congratulations. I get to see Gavin, and I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Great.
So anyway, this is supposed to be about us meeting Fia. So Fia, tell us about what you actually do, because you talked about it a bit in episode 34 where we had you on as a guest, but refresh. Yes. Definitely not for me, definitely for the listeners and the listeners
for
only.
The fans. Yeah. That sounded very suspicious, Gavin.
I don't know what you mean.
All right, so I live in Louisiana, southern Louisiana specifically, and I've been down here since November of 2020. I moved down here to pursue a career in marine biology, and I am living the dream, trying to achieve that lifestyle. So I started working down at this marine lab called LUMCON, and that stands for the Louisiana Universities of Marine Consortium. It
Fancy.
It's like the state marine lab that is like associated with all the colleges in Louisiana, but it's not actually a college. It's more like a marine facility to do research.
Oh, cool! I didn't know it was like a state funded thing. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's completely funded by the state. With the exception of people trying to get grant funding for projects.
Right. Yeah. Of course, everyone's always trying to get grants and stuff in science.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a whole episode about that too somewhere.
Yes, I listened to that one, I think. But I worked down there as a lab tech for a while, and then I just started in January pursuing a master's at Louisiana State University, LSU. And so now I am trying to get a master's in renewable natural resources with a concentration in fisheries and aquaculture. In more simple terms, I am just studying oyster reefs. I am looking at community ecology, so I really like looking at the way things interact in an entire ecosystem, and so I'm looking at that based on oyster reefs.
Cool.
And I'm just living the southern dream,
I don't know because I can't stand humidity.
That worries me a little bit actually if you're living the southern dream, but okay.
I can't stand humidity, so it's like, is there a national park in Louisiana? I don't think so.
Think so.
Good. Because the only reason I would ever go there is to visit you.
Yeah. There is
but I'm glad you enjoy
National
it.
Historical
I
Park,
don't
if
mean
you were
that to.
wondering.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
And
Is
I,
that
No,
and
the
it's
one
I,
that's like
okay. I
Jean
understand.
Lafitte? What's the name? Is
Yeah,
that like
Jean
Jean
Lafitte.
Lafitte?
It's
Yeah.
Jean.
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 Okay, Jean Lafitte. Do we know why Jean Lafitte? Do we know who that is? Because I do. I
Uh,
think I do.
I don't.
I should know. Too many people have told me, and I don't remember.
I want to make sure that I've got the right guy. Yeah. All right. So, quick thing: War of 1812. The war
I
is
didn't know we
over.
were having a Today in History segment
Tell
in
you,
this episode.
anytime I get a chance to talk about, any chance I get to talk about Jean Lafitte, I'm going to make sure I take a chance to do it. Real quick. So, this jabroni is a pirate. Okay. War of 1812. The war is over. But you know who doesn't know that? Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson is outnumbered like 2-1. The British are coming. The war is supposed to be over, but like he still wants to kick some British butt
Was he
because he's Andrew
president at
Jackson.
that time?
No, he was a general.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't become president for over a decade later.
Okay.
But so he still wants to kick some British butt. So he goes and finds like Native Americans and free blacks, and he still doesn't have enough. So he goes and finds Jean Lafitte, a literal pirate, and gets pirates to help him. And in the Battle of New Orleans, the Americans, who are so badly outnumbered, absolutely demolish the British. And just to be clear, this is 3 weeks after the war was over, and so this kind
but
of goes
it was the early 1800s. It's not like they had email.
right. Exactly. So they had no. I love how you went with email as the most current way to stay up with things.
I was gonna
Old
say
man.
like pagers or something. But...
Oh dear.
Yes. The telegraph had not quite made it to them yet. But so the Battle of New Orleans kind of goes with the mythology of the War of 1812 was really a draw for the Americans, but they felt like they won it after the Battle of New Orleans, and that's part of what helps to launch Andrew Jackson into just rock stardom and eventually into the presidency. And did you need to know any of that? No, but we're talking about Jean Lafitte here, and I'll tell you what, I wasn't going to miss my opportunity.
Yeah. I am actually refreshed, thank you, of why
Yeah.
I know Jean Lafitte. So the reason why I know Jean Lafitte is because of my boyfriend Andy. Andy, shout out to you if you're listening to this.
Hold on, wait. We need to. Wait. All right. He hasn't listened before, has he? This is going to be a new thing for him.
I think we listened to one about gators together, but that was
Okay.
it.
So we need to have
cool.
some kind of subtle way for Andy to show that he's listening without him being like, "Oh, look, I'm a good boyfriend. I'm listening to you." Like, no. None of this performative BS stuff. Okay, Andy, if you're listening, do not let Fia know that you're listening to the podcast. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go into your shower. Okay, wait till Fia's not around. Go into her shower, and you're gonna rearrange all like the soaps and shampoos and everything. So that way, whenever next time your lovely girlfriend has to take a shower, she's going to be like, "What the hell?" Then she's going to remember, and then she's going to love you because you showed how much you loved her by just subtly saying, "I was listening to your podcast and I wasn't doing it, performatively. You just happened to hear this part."
I mean, sneaking into her shower when she's not there is just generally. I mean, that's not the route I would have gone.
I assume you guys use the same shower. Like, are you guys showering in different places?
We don't live together.
Why do you
Oh,
assume they
God.
live together?
All right, we need a plan B.
I mean, he comes over often enough that.
Do you think he'd be able to pull this off?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Andy, this is your mission should you choose to accept it. And just remember, if you don't accept it, Fia's going to know.
Also,
Right.
on behalf of the podcast, Andy, I'm really sorry.
All right, so back to what I was saying. We went we went night fishing in the night, and we were like in this like very like slim, narrow, like swampy bayou channel thing, and he turned off all the lights, and he's like, they used to say that Jean Lafitte and his pirate crew used to like come here and bury their treasure. And he played this whole like prank on me, and I got really scared. And it was all a joke.
I like it.
See, Jean Lafitte is just like a cool dude to say. I believe he had a brother too that was also part of this. Like, just cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a pirate.
Yeah.
I just had a really bad pun come into my mind, and I don't
Go on. You can't just say that out loud.
Was it Jean Lahand?
Heyo, Gavin. Gavin, how are those 6 kids? How are those 6 kids you have?
Non-existent, thank God.
I don't know. Those dad jokes you're making make me think that you're in top form as a parent.
Why, thanks. Where do we even go from that? This is
well,
so far off the
Thea
rails.
was just talking about. Thea was talking about the prank that was played on her. I think that would be a good time to kind of explain just what we expect to hear from Swamp Corner going forward. We got a little bit of that last episode,
but
just
transition. I like it, Mike.
Right, yeah. So in addition to Thea just being a regular co-host and being a little bit more of a sciencey person than I am to help kind of ask questions with Gavin, she's also going to have her own segment on the show, Swamp Corner with Thea. So Thea, what do we got?
Yeah, so Swamp Corner with Fia is basically haven't really figured it out 100%, but it's swamp related in any aspect. I think that I'm gonna try to keep it really Louisiana based, but just talk about things that I've learned while living here and being a scientist here. And just keeping you guys updated about what's going on down here in the coast and the swamps, and give you some fun facts, some new info, and just keep it short and sweet. It might not be dead, it might not be alive, it might not be anything, but it'll be swamp. Yeah, it'll be swamp related.
No, I like it because you, as we've mentioned several times just on the podcast in general, I am a vertebrate paleontologist.
Yes.
I know stuff about invertebrates, but they're not my jam. Especially not like living invertebrates. I don't.
Right.
There's too many of them. I lose track.
Yes.
So it's nice to have Fia around, and it's nice because Fia's like a good transition between me and Mike in the terms of like paleontology stuff. Because for a lot of things, Fia will like ballpark know what I'm talking about, whereas Mike being the pedestrian will not, and so hopefully that will we have more layers. We're like onions.
That's sweet. Our friendship is just one big onion.
Is there a swamp version of an onion?
I mean
Shrek.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. If there's like some kind of onion type plant that grows down there, I don't know. But I feel like onions are already swampy enough because Shrek.
Yeah.
But
there is a plant called a swamp onion.
Cool.
But
perfect.
Other than that,
stop right there, Fia. Stop right there.
Okay.
Swamp onion. I don't want to know anything else about it. As little as I know about invertebrates, I know even less about plants.
As long as I know it exists, I am happy.
All right, that's good.
So Swamp Corner with Fia is going to be sort of a recurring segment on the show, and then similarly to how I've done my handful of Mike Takes the Wheel episodes, we'll probably have some episodes where Fia will come up with a topic and be able to tell us all about it. And I don't think we know exactly what the contours of that are, but I'm looking forward to, again, having a little more variety injected in here.
Yes.
So, Fia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Also, it's going to be nice to change the kind of challenge the stereotype, I think, a little bit of everybody that has a podcast. It's like just two white dudes that decide to form podcasts. Whereas now, we are not just two white dudes. It took us 67 episodes, but we finally have a white woman to help us out here. And Sophia, thank you for just busting stereotypes and breaking down barriers.
There goes
You're
that
welcome.
glass ceiling. Am I right?
Oh, no.
Am I right? I'm not right. It's
No.
It's also going to be good to have Fia here so she can just tell us to shut up sometimes.
Yeah, and we deserve it.
Oh, absolutely. That's part of why I was so okay with bringing her on. Because we could definitely use it sometimes. But no, is there anything else? As much, I think the three of us could sit around and BS with each other all day long. But is there anything else you'd like to say just about kind of beginning your tenure here on I Wish You Were Dead?
My tenure, whoa.
That's not a word that we're used to in academia. That's something that's like,
yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna ever get that.
It's like a rare unicorn.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I'm just happy to be here, and I'm doing my best to reach out more in science education. And I thought that this would be a fun way to do that. And I guess my last thing I want to say is don't take everything that I say for 100% truth because,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I don't know that much.
That's why like I try to spend, a solid, you know, day and a half uh for each episode trying to,
Right.
but it's like I'm always gonna miss stuff and I'm always gonna say like a thing or two that's like slightly wrong. So it's like
Yeah.
just I feel like that's a good blanket thing for any podcast.
Yeah.
Don't take what we say at face value.
Yeah.
Right. This is, as part of,
It's the internet.
right. It's an implicit, agreement you're making with yourself doing a show like this that you're just going to get stuff wrong.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
I have certainly made my peace with that. And, Gavin, I know you have, and Fia, I think it'll come pretty quickly. You'll just realize, you know what? I got a thing wrong and I'm going to have to live with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we are super happy to have Fia along for. I'm not even gonna call this a ride because I don't know what this is anymore at this point. But yeah, we're super happy to have Fia joining us and tune in next week. Normally, I have the topics at least like I know what it is. I have no idea what we're doing next week. So
I know we're doing 2 weeks from now, but we'll get there in a little bit. So, thank you everybody for tuning into this half episode. Next week, back to our regularly scheduled shenanigans.
Yeah.
With some more sciencey kind of stuff. But until then, have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next week.